Happy morning to everyone. This is Priya from Arignar College, Assistant Professor of English. Today we are talking about elegy. So what is an elegy? Elegy is a form of literature that can be defined as poem or song written in honor of someone deceased. It typically laments or mourns the death of the individual. So for example, Alfred Lord Tennyson's In Memoriam on the death of the Hallam and W.H. Addams in memory of W.B. Yeats 1940. An elegy is a sad poem usually written to praise and express sorrow for someone who is dead. Although your speech at a funeral is a eulogy, you might later compose an elegy to someone you have loved and lost to the grave. The purpose of this kind of poem is to express feelings rather than tell a story. Thomas Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard is a poem that reflects on the lives of common people buried in a church cemetery and on the nature of human mortality. The noun elegy was borrowed in the 16th century from Middle French elegy, from Latin elegia, from Greek elegia, from elagos, mournful forms or song. Thomas Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard is a famous English elegy. This is the lines of elegy in a country churchyard. So types of elegies: pastoral elegy. Elegies written in English frequently take the form of the pastoral elegy. The pastoral elegy, which represents both the poet and the one he mourns, who is usually also a poet, and shepherds. The Latin word for shepherds is pastor. This poetic form was originated by the Sicilian Greek poet Theocritus. So notable English pastoral elegies are Spenser's Astrophel on the death of Sir Philip Sidney, 1595, Milton's Lycidas, and Shelley's Adonais, 1821, and in the Victorian age, Arnold's Tiresias. So these are all the pastoral elegies. So fictional representation of both mourner and subject as shepherds tending their flocks. Features of elegy. So what is the features of elegy? The lyrics speaker begins by invoking the muses and goes on to make frequent references to other figures from classical mythology. All nature joins in mourning the shepherd's death. The mourner charges with negligence the nymphs or other guardians of the dead shepherds. There is a procession of appropriate mourners, and the poet raises questions about the just of fate or health of providence and adverts to the corrupt conditions of his own times. So that is your closing consolation, the lyric reversal from grief and despair to joy and assurance typically occurs when the elegist suddenly realizes that death in the world is the entry to higher life. So for example, this poem, "But oh the heavy change, how thou art gone, now thou art gone, and ever must return. Thee shuffles the woods and desert caves, with wild thyme and the gadding winds overgrown, and all their echoes moan." Thank you for watching. Thank you to all.